everybody, and welcome to our cooking school or cooking class, whichever you want to call it. Today we are going to be canning ground beef. But before you think this is just another one of those ground beef canning videos, I hope you keep watching because we have a twist on a very old way of preserving food. I hope you stay tuned. All right, everyone, we're back in the kitchen. Now, I sauteed 2 pounds of ground beef. So there we have 2 pounds of ground beef. Now, we do not eat a lot of red meat. Every once in a while, you'll see me in a video where I'm sharing that we're making hamburgers or something like that. That's only because we can get sometimes hamburger at 50 to 75% off because it is a day or 2 days old. But to get meat at the real price that it is, that's simply way above our budget. So I'm only using 2 pounds of ground beef. And what we're gonna do is, I did saute it so I could drain the fat. You could put it in raw. I don't like raw meat in a canning jar, even though it is going to cook. I like to saute things. I like to cook my chicken ahead of time and then put it in. It's just a personal preference. I have all of my jars washed. Now I am using pint jars because it's only 2 of us basically. And this is going to be a meal starter. So in other words, you can open this up with some and add it to some rice, and then you have a meat rice dish, which I make a lot here at home. Or you can make this starter, like I said previously, outside, different things you can use it for. I do have some peas. Now these peas were 99 cents. So we're gonna add some peas, we're gonna add some carrots, and we're gonna add some of my dehydrated onions. These are dehydrated from me. All right, let's assemble our jars, and I think you'll get a better idea. Like I said, the jars are washed, they are clean, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to just layer the jars. Now, I'm sure some of you are questioning, wait a minute, if you have to can this for 75 minutes, won't the peas get mushy? Well, yes and no. So it would be the same as canning vegetable soup with meat in it. Your peas will be slightly mushy, but I do not think it's going to be that terribly bad because, you know, you do can with peas higher temperatures. So now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to add some peas. I don't want to make it too full because we are going to fill it with some beef broth. Now you could fill it with water if you wanted to, but I like adding flavor whenever I can. So we're adding some beef broth. Got some beef broth at the discount grocery store for 99 cents. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the beef broth, and hopefully I have enough. Now we're just going to go ahead and debubble it. Now I'm not concerned about some carrots here on the top because they will cook down to about half the size. Now we're going to take a paper towel and wipe the rims. Our lids have been washed, and we're just going to put the lids on finger tight. All right, our jars are ready to go into my Tefal canner. My Tefal canner is just like a Presto canner, except for there is some different bells and whistles to it. In other words, it does have self-regulating, so it will not go beyond a certain pressure. But you still have to watch it to make sure it doesn't go under the pressure. I'm going to show you fully how to use it. Because my canner is not totally full and I still have room, I'm going to be also canning some dry beans. This is the no-soak canning method. Now this is not USDA regulated, but I do love doing it this way. We're just going to take some dry beans, add them to the pint jar, and we're going to can them that way. I'll show you that here in just a minute. All right, so what I did was, it's 1/2 cup of dry beans, make sure they're washed, and then we're going to add boiling water to this. I'm also going to add just a little bit of my onion flakes. This way the canner is full. When you are using the 23-quart Presto canner or the Tefal canner, you can actually double layer, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So it's really important while you're going to use up all of that energy, all of my propane to can, to make sure my canner is full. And the reason why I'm doing the beans is because it's the same time. That's why it's really important to have a cookbook. The Big Ball Book of Canning is my favorite cookbook. It is hundreds of pages showing you how to can. If you do not want to can it dry like this, then all you need to do is soak your beans overnight and then can it the same way. 1/2 cup of beans to 1 pint, 1 cup of beans to 1 quart. So we're just going to add some onions to it. Doesn't matter how many or how little, just for a little flavoring. And then we're going to fill these up until the rim. All right, before you double stack, you want to make sure that you have an extra one of these racks. So you cannot put the jars on top of each other. So you want to have an extra rack, and this is what double stacking looks like. You can only double stack with pints or smaller jars like that. Before you put the lid on the Tefal canner or any canner, make sure you have about 2 quarts of water in the canner. In other words, I make sure the water goes to about 1/3 to 1/4 top of the jars. Now you don't want the water to go over top of the jars, just about 1/3 or 1/4 of the water needs to go from the bottom up to the top of the jars. So about 2 quarts of water you're going to add to the canner. All right, so we're about 12 pounds pressure. Now we just have to time 75 minutes. All right, everyone, let's get all of the food out of the canner. While you watch everything being taken out of the canner, I just want to share with you a little bit at the end of this video my thoughts on the cooking show or the cooking class or the cooking school, whatever words you want to use it. As I said in the other video, I'm going to say in this one, there's nothing more diverse than a person's kitchen. Every single person has a way that they like to work around in the kitchen. Somebody said something many years ago, and I never heard of this saying before, but your kitchen, your rules. So while I do some things maybe different than you, that's what's really unique. We can all learn from each other, and everybody's kitchen is very different. I hope everyday girl in the kitchen showing you all of the things that she has learned over the years.